Hello kids, ready for a new adventure? Here's the title of today's story. Sophie and the Cookies, a Tasty Adventure. It was a rainy afternoon, and Sophie, a little girl full of energy, was bored in the living room. She was playing with Biscuit, the family cat, when a brilliant idea crossed her mind. She jumped up with joy. "Mom, what if we made cookies?" she shouted as she ran to the kitchen. Her mom, who was making a cup of tea, smiled at her daughter's enthusiasm. "Cookies? What a delicious idea, Sophie. Let's do it." Biscuit, sensing an adventure, trotted after them. In the kitchen, Sophie and her mom gathered the ingredients: flour, butter, sugar, eggs, and of course, chocolate chips. Sophie insisted on doing everything herself, proudly declaring, "I'm a cookie-making pro." She cracked the eggs with varying success, mixed the dough, and tasted the chocolate chips a little too often. In her excitement, she accidentally dropped a small piece of dough on the floor. Biscuit, always alert, snatched it up in an instant. "Biscuit, that's not for you," Sophie exclaimed, laughing. Her mom smiled. "Maybe we can make a special cookie just for Biscuit." Sophie's eyes lit up. "Oh yes, a cookie for Biscuit, but without chocolate, of course." They carefully shaped a small ball of dough, set aside especially for Biscuit. While the cookies were baking, a delicious aroma filled the house. Sophie and her mom tidied up the kitchen, but Biscuit was still on a mission. He leapt onto the counter, sniffed the warm trays, and gave them a pleading look. "Be patient, Biscuit," Sophie said, scratching his head. Finally, the cookies were ready. Sophie carefully placed Biscuit's special cookie on a small plate. The curious cat sniffed it before taking a bite. His tail wagged with delight. "He loves it," Sophie exclaimed. Sophie and her mom sat at the kitchen table with a plate full of warm cookies. Sophie took a bite and let out a little noise of satisfaction. "Mom, they're perfect." Biscuit, sitting near his little plate, finished his cookie with focus. His whiskers were covered in crumbs, which made Sophie burst out laughing. "I think we've got a new fan of our cookies," her mom joked. They carefully packed the most beautiful cookies into a box to give to Dad. When he came home, Sophie ran to him. "Dad, guess what we did today?" "Did you turn Biscuit into a chef?" he replied, noticing the cat still lingering near the crumbs. Sophie giggled. "No, we made cookies, and Biscuit had one too." Dad took a bite of a cookie, nodded, and said, "Delicious, but who's the best baker here?" Sophie raised her hand enthusiastically. "Me, and Biscuit is my assistant." That day, the whole house was filled with laughter and delicious smells. Sophie was proud of her cookies, Biscuit got his well-deserved treat, and Dad was pleasantly surprised. It was a simple day, but one full of love and togetherness. Thank you for listening to this story. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything. Now, I invite you to continue the adventure by clicking on one of the two videos. The first one is the same story but in French, and the second one will take you on a whole new adventure. It's your choice.